All right. I may have already talked about this in another video, so please forgive the redundancy. But just in case I didn't, I'm going to go a little bit over the ideas of the design. So I did a couple sketches, and then this was a top view because that was the way I was going to see the shoe most of the time. So I started there trying to get my ideas. I kind of was just trying to make things sharp, and then I wanted an area for the toe. This hole here represents where my foot inserts in, the laces, and then this was the overall, I wanted two almost like prongs to help with stability, and then, for pivoting, this is the right foot, so it would be like this if you were looking down. So if you were to take off, there's a considerable amount of rubber here for pivoting, and rubber in the back for, just landing. Not much on the corner toe, but the toe is going to have a cover on it, and that's more of a design element than any kind of function. So anyway, I took that into Illustrator, and I came up with this just to kind of get an idea of the overall shape, okay? And then what this let me do was figure out where hard angles were going to be at. And I took that and then flipped it and then let that help me guide where the angles were going to be in theory on the shoe. So this was one of the first mock-ups, and then what I realized was I didn't like the balance. Like, there's a lot of heavy heel, and I wanted it to be more forward thinking, and so this was like a revamp. You notice that a lot of the angles are now leaning forward as opposed to leaning backwards. Here it was leaning forward already, but then you had this leaning backwards angle, so I changed that angle more this way and then tried to raise this, and so this was kind of like the idea. So then I went back to the top view to figure out how I wanted to deal with this toe. So I figured this is to help me figure out the pattern for the sewing of the actual shoe itself. This is just more for the sole, the gray parts. Then I wanted to look and see, compared to the regular shoe, how I wanted to try and treat the toe. Like, did I want the toe piece to cut off right here? And on the blog write-up, you'll see the other shoe, the maroon and gray shoe, that kind of is similar in idea, but look completely different. And so this was just a rough comp of what the sewing kind of is going to look like. And then this is the back. So if you were to look at the back of the shoe, let me get one for an example real quick. If you were to look at the back of this, so here's the back, and you see the angles on it and how they're all curves. This part curves around and stuff. So here, where you have this curve, I've sharpened it and made angles. And so this is the idea, is to have a sewn angle cut. I don't know if it's going to come out like that, but this is the design. I got it as far as I could, as far as on paper. And then I decided to start actually fabricating it, or make a mock out of clay.